Welcome to a spoiler review of Black Panther Wakanda Forever. As the final film of Phase 4 is each of my favorite standalone entries since Spider-Man No Way Home, so let's begin. To understand this film, rewatching the first is definitely a good idea. Others include the third and fourth Avengers movies, the Falcon Winter Soldier event series, and the first season What If, with the second episode in particular being important. Also, this film was originally going to be dealing with the fall from the Endgame, which will play into who will take on the mantle of Black Panther. As I'm about to tell you, the events of the intervening years changed that plan even more than Thanos did, so let's open it up and get started. The film opens a very dramatic scene where Shuri, played again by Letitia Wright, is trying to find a cure for an illness that befell T'Challa. But the time she has one that has a high chance of success, Queen Ramonda, played again by Angela Bassett, has told her brother, the King and Black Panther, has died. The funeral of T'Challa is also a symbolic one for Chadwick Boseman, who succumbed to cancer in 2020, age 43. There was talk of recasting the character. The decision to retire him sets the tone for this film and future installments of the franchise going forward. Flying the Missing Man formation, there's a ceremonial dance, Shaquane's remains ascend the ancestral plane. The Moral Vanity play stunned the whole theater into silence when I first saw this. 1 year having passed since the events of the Endgame, the potential of Wakanda opening up to other nations has seemingly died with the king. On top of this, a new threat from the seas after both Wakanda and other nations on the surface. I do like the scene of Adora Milaje stopping an attempt to steal vibranium from the stores in Osongo, Mali, and Bassett's performance as the Queen is the way it's intercut with her meeting with the UN is another highly effective way, continuing what the last one established, and laying the foundations for what's next. Matters are further complicated by an attack on an offshore drilling platform in the Atlantic Ocean, with one on-set platform being claimed by mysterious individuals rising from the water and making them jump off. Those who don't are attacked directly by blue people, swarmed by a giant phantom jellyfish, have their chopper down by a man with winged feet known as Cool Khan. We'll come back to him in a bit. Back in Wakanda, Shuri's attempting to revive the herbs from the past without much success. That night, Ramonda takes her to the beach with a symbolic funeral pyre with the garments of the deceased. We'll come back to this later as Shuri is reluctant. Before the two can say much more, Cool Khan, better known as Namor, rises from the water. He is Submariner, played by Tanaka Huerta of Narcos fame. I am quite pleased that his character doesn't downplay the anti-heroic and antagonistic aspects of his comic book counterpart. As Namor delivers vibranium detected from the attack, the debate about who will take over Black Panther's mantle has officially begun, with Shuri raising questions about whether or not anyone should. I generally like this aspect of the film. It expands on the Afrofuturism of the first and makes the grief a vital part of the story. It's where, in Alexandria, Virginia, we rejoin Agent Ross, played by Martin Freeman. Though Freeman has become, shall we say, difficult to work with in the years since the first film, his character does do things in the movie that work in favor of him being as big a heel on screen as he reportedly is behind the scenes. More on that later. Shuri Okoye seek out a young woman in Cambridge, Massachusetts after a tip from Ross. Her name is Riri Williams, played by Dominique Thorne. Distinct from how she's listed in the comic, the contents are that she's inspired by Tony Stark's work and is a brilliant young MIT student. Nights, they accompany her to her workshop in her late father's garage. Her prototype suit isn't quite the mimetic cave with a box of scraps, but it has a similar purpose. Again, most of the shots are CGI, much like the Iron Man armor before her. They did build a practical armor for scale and close-up shots. Thor marked the suit weighed at 50 pounds at minimum. Also, while the feds try to disable their car, Okoye several steps ahead, take control of their armored vehicle with the Komoyo beads. The ensuing chase on streets of Cambridge is a great action scene. Not quite as showy as the Busan, South Korea sequence in the first film, but a very close second. Forcing to be extracted, Namor's followers claim Williams and Shuri after a fight on the bridge. One even comes riding up on a whale. Ross keeps the truth secret in order to maintain security in both the US and Wakanda. This ends up attracting the attention of Agent Fontaine, played by Julia Louis-Dreyfus. Though I don't know about being sponge-worthy, she's apparently been a prominent figure in the comics for a while now. She also briefly appeared in the stand for Black Widow, and between the hair streaks and southernisms, I had to wonder if she's connected to Rogue. This won't be the only X-Men hint/connection to address either. Back in Wakanda, the Queen dismisses Okoye from her post, and it's clear that neither one wants this to happen from their performances. However, this doesn't mean that she can't be helped outside the Queen's elite guard. Point. After relinquishing her spear, she goes seek help while the Queen contacts Ross. In exchange for keeping Namor secret, Ross reluctantly agrees to help find Shuri and Williams. The Queen finds Nakia, played again by Lupita Nyong'o in a missionary school in Haiti, so have knowledge of how to find them, more on that soon. Shuri and Williams are held captive. When the former is given traditional royal garb, Williams knows this is headed. She compares it to Leia, Belle, and the white chick Indiana Jones. I see what you did there, and yes, I am looking forward to Dial of Destiny. Nakia makes contact with locals in the Yucatan, getting a lead on Namor. I must say, I really like the depiction of Talokan. I take Atlantis that leans more into Mesoamerican legend and myth rather than Greco-Roman motifs you'd normally see in stuff like Indie or Tomb Raider or Aquaman. Namor tells his story to Shuri. His father was of the sea, and his mother of the land, effectively making him a mutant and another connection to the X-Men. He has been alive since the 16th century, and Namor is actually derived from Sin Amor, literally no love. The way the plantation workers treat them and the subsequent destruction of the compound does give me confidence in the X-Men content in development as I speak. Likewise, if the mouse is still working on that live action Those of Atlantis, this would actually be a good moral follow. Though CGI does provide an assist, the Kingdom of Talokan also uses quite a few practical sets built in water tanks. It's also distinct in tone presentation from Aquaman, which made the way for that sequel much easier. Bottom line, the film's $250 million budget is in line with the Avengers films, and you definitely see all that money on the screen. On the surface, Nakia has a lead on Shuri. I like the design of her diving outfit. She was one of the candidates to take out the mantle, and she's quite a capable fighter on top of having been the Lake King's lover. We will talk during the stinger. Though Shuri is sympathetic to Namor's plight, she also starts talking about to claim more Wakanda on the surface. Namor still wants to go through with it, especially after Nakia makes her move. Back in Langley, Virginia, when Nakia infiltrates Namor's compound, Ross is questioned by superiors about the incident in Cambridge. It doesn't involve Wakanda or Talokan's role in what really happened, which raises Fontaine's suspicions. The scene also has a cut part in the bathroom as Ross begins his own investigation. Whether or not Fontaine is connected to the X-Men, it should be interesting to see what happens with them in the Thunderbolts. The Queen meets with Namor in Cape Verde, and Shuri is safe, for now. The Queen shares her daughter's sentiment about not wanting to go to war, but the Submariner's mind's made up. Nakia fears both Shuri and Williams, but Shuri is able to treat the guard's wounds before she's extracted. Though the Queen is happy to see her daughter again, Namor makes good on his promise to go to war with Wakanda, and before he does, I just love his ceremonial costume and his throw made of the jaws of a shark. Very glad the same costume designer and production designer from last movie are back, and they're easily on the shortlist for the Technical Awards nominations this year. Williams is impressed by Wakanda, and while Okoye is happy to see Nakia again, Namor makes his move. Though he tries to put a valiant fight on land, air, and water, Namor and Talokan won't go down that easy. After Dora Milaje stops the siren song with a death charge, Shuri helps evacuate civilians, and Bagu holds a line. That part where he gets punched in the chest and through a table by Namor, turns out only part of that was special effects. Winston Duke really did get the wind knocked out of him and beating his chest with an improv. Namor reaches the throne room, and his winged feet are a mix of CGI and good old-fashioned wire work. He breaches the room with his spear and water grenades. The woman narrowly survives. Now the Queen is gone. Namor vows to return in 1 week to finish what he started with his entire army. I don't have much to add about the discourse with this scene either. Though I understand how Bassett feels, it did what it set out to do. The shock in and out of the universe was totally real. Back in the US has found out Ross's secret, and even as someone who has mixed feelings towards his character/actor is unsure of what Fontaine's endgame is, I do agree that keeping secrets about the US and Wakanda is technically treason. He is arrested, and we'll come back to him after the finale. Shuri, heartbroken by losing even more family, decides to give synthesizing the herbs one last try. She ends up crafting the highest success rate with the herbs since her brother's death. Now, a new Black Panther must be chosen, and Williams begins upgrading her own suits. She also convinces Okoye to re-enlist with a new armor to counter the Talokan. Must also point out that while Shuri was always a candidate in every version of the story. The possibility was complicated by COVID-19 pandemic as well as being injured in a botched stunt. Both had production shut down for a time, and while I try not to take behind-the-scenes drama personally, only bring it up strictly for educational purposes as I try to do. Shuri ingests a synthetic herb, and when she reaches the ancestral plane, she gets one of the big surprises of the film before her. Her cousin, Eric Killmonger, played again by Michael B. Jordan. He was one of my favorite parts of the previous film, and as the throne was set on fire, he poses a question to Shuri. Will her path be one of vengeance like his, or one of nobility like her late brother T'Challa? She comes to, and after punching a mannequin through the wall of her lab, the time has come to suit up. I especially like how the outfit has both silver and gold detailing. Decided to armor, Shuri takes the mantle to lead her people against Namor. I also have no issue with the Power Rangers vibes for the new Ironheart armor. Honestly, it would be a good model to follow for this reboot that Hasbro is working on. In terms of size and scope, this is the most ambitious finale since the Endgame. Ups and downs of Phase 4 aside, I still feel comfortable saying this is my favorite standalone film since No Way Home from the previous year. As for how Avatar The Way of Water came out the following month, might as well do the featuring for a bit again. If I had a nickel for every holiday 2022 blockbuster from the studio featuring underwater blue people, I'd have 2 nickels. Which isn't a lot, but it's weird that it happened twice. The final fight is between Shuri and Namor on dry land, and though he's been dehydrated by the desert backdrop and the heaters of her transport, he's still built like an MMA fighter. Just interesting to find a way to make the green shorts work on film. I also found the anecdote Huerta had about his package amusing. Shuri tears off one of Namor's ankle wings, and she finally realizes her purpose upon winning the fight. She agrees to let Namor live and keep Talocon's secret on the condition that he never threatens Wakanda with service again. He agrees, and like with the Hulk and Thor Ragnarok, I think the movie found a good use of the character and a good way of getting around Universal having the standalone movie rights. Really enjoy how they restored William's car that belonged to a late father. As Ross is being transferred to a different prison, his wagon is intercepted, and he's released in his role in Thunderbolts. If what they say about his IRL persona is true, it will make him easier to buy as a villain, or at least an anti-hero. Also, if the Suicide Squad was DC's answer to Guardians of the Galaxy, then Thunderbolts is basically Marvel's answer to the Suicide Squad. After a montage of T'Challa's best moments in the series, we close on Shuri going through with the symbolic funeral pyre with the Queen's robes, as a quest for all to be honest left me up. The film Stinger has a young man named for T'Challa, meaning that while the king may be gone, his legacy will last forever. This plot was originally much different in the previous cuts of the film, but I think it's a good way to close out the story and start wrapping things up. The film is fittingly dedicated to Boseman's memory. It is both a stunning 161-minute blockbuster epic and a beautiful tribute to Ryan Coogler's great collaborator and friend. Though following the acclaim and success of the first movie was never going to be an easy task, as the loss of its beloved lead actor was one that made it massive. I think the approach to honoring the actor and the character's legacy was great. I hope that future films in and out of this franchise follow similar routes. While not as huge as senior, the film's made a respectable $450 million domestically and $142 million worldwide as of this review. It's also proven to be quite successful on streaming, digital, and Blu-ray, making this a good movie Phase 4 to go out on. I mentioned this before in my review of Love and Thunder. For spoilers, I'll just bring it up again here. Much like Godzilla and James Bond before it, fans have proven its resilience, wide range of quality and content aside. For better or for the worse, it really put the universe in cinematic universe. I'm looking forward to see what lies ahead in Phase 5 and beyond. That'll be all for now. I'll see you again soon. Wakanda Forever.